Hey guys, what's going on? Majin Obama here, and today I wanted to talk about the little bit of time that I had to kind of flail around in training mode with Kaguya at the Arc System Works booth at Tokyo Game Show for the upcoming, of course, UNI2 Celes. And right off the bat, I want to say, obviously this game had a surprise announcement drop at the beginning of EVO. I didn't get a chance to play it then. This is my first time even touching the game, but I think that UNI2 is a huge misnomer. It's smart of them to do, but this definitely is just it's just a new version of Uni. I don't know how I feel about some of the UI changes. I'm not really feeling some of them. Some of the portrait art, especially at the character select screen, not really doing it for me. I hope they change those. But for Kaguya, right away when you select her and they throw 45 colors in your face like that, I'm like, yes, that is, I'm once again reminded of like why I like these games. Just right off the bat, the color schemes, the names of them, there's no shortage of that kind of stuff in this game. Kaguya right away when I touched her, it was like, okay, she feels pretty simple to kind of get into like that. If you're a player who is maybe new to the series, or maybe you watched this before but you just never jumped in, I think she'll be pretty easy to learn for you. There's not like too much crazy stuff going on. She is a gun character, so if you've ever played characters like Noelle in BlazBlue, Petra in Arcana Heart, or Elphelt in Real Guilty Gear, or various other characters, if that kind of character appeals to you, I think you'll feel right at home with her. Her normals right away, you can see a lot of them on display here. Some of them, while they feel a little slow, it feels like they have like very like balloon type hitboxes. Some of them might even be disjointed with the way that they hit, but they mesh together pretty well. Even like her standing B chains into another standing B. It makes it really easy to get confirms with her. You never really have to guess. But I want to point out, of course, 3C in particular. She has a 2-hitting sweep, her 2C, but her 3C, it's a very strange looking attack. It's like she turns into a cat. She kind of just like leaps out at you, Lion King style. But it has an A follow-up, a C follow-up, and you can actually dash out of it too. One of the follow-ups is a special looking attack, but that move I think is going to be kind of a big point for her in terms of her routing, just because of the follow-up potential. 6C is a flip kick like you're used to with some other characters, but jumping normals. Take a look at her jump B in particular. It's this little 2-shot that can cross up. Her jump C is this big winding blow, but she also has a jump 2C, which creates another type of 2-shot attack. Basically, those are cross-up buttons. You can cross up pretty easily with those. They do have a little bit of startup, but they have very, very far reach. Of course, she has gunshots, quarter circle forward A, quarter circle B, and C is a different kind of attack. But she does have follow-ups to them. And in the air, right, she has a command dash in the air that you can jump out of. So her air mobility might be, although it looks a little slow, she might actually have more reach than first appears. But the big one to me that stood out was this kind of rollout attack where she drops Maya out and she turns into Relento, I guess. There are a lot of different trajectories that you can create, and you can hold it. You can do an increase on it as well. It's also doable in the air. So that means, yeah, there's a lot of different trajectories that you can set up with these exploding mines. The way that the explosions work, they have a lot of untechable time on hit. So what I'm thinking is this character is going to turn into some setup based stuff where if you get the right kind of hit, you can set up traps for your opponent to where if they want to wake up and mash or wake up reversal, wake up super, or try to roll or whatever, right? She's going to be able to punish you hard for that, I think. Of her BC stance, it's like a sidestep almost from the old Melty games. It has follow-ups as well that you can do out of it, but it does have involve. The big thing to me that stood out, I guess, from playing it is it feels just like a new update to Under Night. The roll mechanic kind of stood out to me as something that's going to be pretty fun to watch, especially at high-level play. Just thinking about how players are going to have to change up their offense to be able to bait and punish those, but then also on defense, how players are going to choose to try to get through maybe some strings that maybe used to give them trouble or certain situations that they want to avoid. That kind of tug of war and that Yomi that's going to play around that, I think is going to be really fun to watch. But other than that, it's, yeah, I'm looking forward to this game, but the biggest thing to me, and it's the one that this is not good to me, I'm really worried about this game. And before we get to this, I'll say this: Under Night as a game, especially with its console releases, it's always been a game where the community has hard carried the game through events, through tournaments specifically. You got to think about events like Climax of Night, and they've done really well overseas too. They've been able to get like pretty decent numbers for a lot of the major tournaments. It's definitely a more low-key community, but they are very active. However, something that's been a recurring theme with the releases of these games is they are almost always competing with bigger titles and bigger releases. Look at the games that release. I don't know why Suicide Squad is there. That was kind of weird, but look at what it's releasing against just that week, just that weekend. You're competing with Tekken 8 off the bat. That's already an L. Even though there isn't necessarily going to be like hard crossover between Tekken players and Under Night, you know, just because they live in denial that they play an anime game too. It's not so much about that. It's more about the looks that the game can get. And when it's releasing in this competitive of a time frame, it just naturally is going to get less people looking at it. End of sentence. And that's unfortunate because this is a game that I'm looking forward to, and I really hope a lot more people are willing to give a shot that maybe they wouldn't have in the past. Because I think come January, I think I'm pretty much focused on this and Tekken 8, man, for a while. At least until FF7 R2 comes out the month after this. Man, it felt like this year was such a strong year for games, and then like early next year is looking pretty buff too, you know? I guess it's a good thing, but it's just something I thought about. I could not believe that they were releasing it this same week. This is really rough. Anyway, I'm going to put some links to some more resources that the community has compiled for characters and also just for system mechanics looking ahead to the new game. I'll put that in the description below, but talk to me, guys. I mean, are you guys liking how this character looks, or the other new characters, Kwon and Tsurugi? Are those looking more interesting to you? Get at me in the comments below and I'll talk to you guys there. Everybody be easy.